If you're over 50, you're carrying a weight that younger people don't understand. The weight of accumulated regret. At 3 a.m, when you can't sleep, what keeps you awake? The job you didn't take? The relationship you let slip away? The dream you abandoned because it felt too risky? What if regret wasn't proof you missed your chance, but proof you still have one? In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to tell you the brutal truth about regret after 50 and why everything you think you know about too late is wrong. Let's start with what nobody wants to admit. Regret doesn't get lighter with age. It gets heavier. Every year that passes adds weight to the what-ifs and if-onlys. That business you didn't start in your 30s, now it feels impossible. The person you didn't tell you loved, now they're married to someone else. The adventure you postponed for someday, now your knees hurt, and someday feels like never. You lie awake calculating, if I'd just done X 20 years ago, my life would be completely different. And here's the cruelest part. You're probably right. Your life would be different. But here's what you're missing. Different doesn't always mean better. Regret is a master manipulator. It convinces you that your past mistakes define your future possibilities. It whispers you had your chance and you blew it. Everyone else figured it out, but you were too scared, too slow, too something. You look at you, 50-something, with a list of dreams you'll never achieve. Regret tells you that time is your enemy, that opportunities have expiration dates, that your best years are behind you. And if you listen to regret long enough, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You stop trying because you believe it's too late. You stop dreaming because you think you've used up your chances. But regret is lying to you. If this feels uncomfortably familiar, hit like and subscribe, because we're the only channel telling the truth about life after 50. Here's the first lie regret tells you, that opportunities have expiration dates. Society programs us to believe there's a timeline for everything. Graduate at 22, married by 30, established career by 40, and after that, you're supposed to just maintain what you've built, but that timeline is fiction. Colonel Sanders was 62 when he franchised KFC. Laura Ingalls Wilder didn't publish her first Little House book until she was 65. Grandmother Moses didn't start painting until she was 78. The difference between them and the people who say it's too late, they stopped listening to regret and started listening to possibility. Your regrets aren't evidence that you've missed your chance. They're evidence that you still have dreams. The fact that you feel regret means you're still alive, still wanting, still capable of more. Here's the second lie regret tells you, that your past mistakes were pure loss. I knew a woman who spent 20 years regretting not going to art school. She'd chosen the practical path, business degree, corporate job, steady paycheck. Every time she was in an art gallery, she felt that familiar sting of what if. At 55, she finally took a painting class. Within 2 years, she was selling her own work. But here's what surprised her. Those 20 years in business had taught her to market herself, manage finances, and run a creative practice. The detour had actually been preparation. What if I told you that every wrong turn led you exactly where you needed to be? That job you didn't get, maybe it would have trapped you in a life that looked successful but felt empty. That relationship that didn't work out, maybe it taught you what you actually need in a partner. That business that failed, maybe it gave you the experience and humility you needed for the one that will succeed. The time you think you wasted, maybe it was preparation time. At 50 plus, You have something your younger self didn't: perspective. Your regrets aren't your failures, they're your education, and that education is about to pay off. Here's the unvarnished reality regret doesn't want you to see. You're not the same person who made those choices 20 years ago. You have wisdom now that you didn't have then, resources you didn't have then, freedom you didn't have then. I know a man who always regretted not travelling in his 30s. At 60, he finally took his first overseas trip. He told me, the funny thing is, I actually enjoyed it more now because I had the patience, money and perspective I didn't have back then. Your kids are grown, your mortgage is smaller or paid off. Your need to impress others has diminished. You know who you are in a way younger self never could. And here's the beautiful irony. The very experiences you regret have prepared you for what comes next. That career disappointment taught you what you don't want to do with your remaining working years. That relationship failure taught you how to love yourself first. The financial mistake taught you the difference between what you need and what you want. You're not starting over, you're starting better. If you're ready to transform your regrets into your roadmap for what's next, download my Reinvention After 50 guide using the link in the description down below. It will help you turn your past disappointments into your future navigation systems. So how do you actually transform regret into action? Here are 3 steps. Step number 1, honour the regret, then release the shame. Stop beating yourself up for choices you made with the information you had at the time. You did the best you could with what you knew then. Step 2, extract the lessons. Ask yourself, what does this regret tell me about what I value? If you regret not taking that creative job, maybe creativity is more important to you than security. If you regret not travelling, maybe adventure matters more than comfort. And step 3, take one small action toward what you still want. You can't go back and start that business at 30, but you can start it at 55. You can't recapture that lost love, but you can learn to love more openly now. You can't undo the adventure you missed, but you can plan the one you'll take next year. The goal isn't to erase regret. The goal is not to add to it. Every day you spend paralysed by past regrets is a day you're creating future ones. Here's the reality check about time and regret. You feel like you have less time, but you actually have more freedom. You feel like opportunities are shrinking, but your ability to recognise the right ones is expanding. You feel like you're running out of chances, but you're finally old enough to take the chances that matter. At 20, you had time but no wisdom. At 30, you had energy but no clarity. At 40, you had the ambition but no perspective. At 50, you have the perfect combination. Enough time left to matter, enough wisdom to choose well, and enough freedom to act boldly. Your regrets aren't your sentence, they're your compass. They're pointing you towards what still matters, what you still want, what you're still capable of achieving. I want you to hear this clearly. It's not too late. It's not too late to start that business, write that book, take that trip, have that conversation, make that change. It's not too late to become who you were meant to be. Your past regrets don't disqualify you from the future joy. They qualify you for it because you now know what matters. Now you know what doesn't. Now you know the cost of waiting. The time you think you've lost was preparing you for the time you have left. Your story isn't over. The best chapters might still be unwritten. Stop letting regret write your future. Start letting your dreams rewrite your past. It's not too late. It's exactly the right time. Cheers.